The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv. Check out amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. And for more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit josplays.com. The Angry Chicken is brought to you by our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot.
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. Wait, what's Battlegrounds?
I'll explain later. Just keep going.
This is The Angry Chicken!
Greetings and welcome back, everyone. This is indeed TAC. I'm Garrett, here as always with Jocelyn, and if you're watching the video version, it's already been spoiled. We're also here with the Night Attack boys, Brian Brushwood, making, I believe, your first appearance ever on the Angry Chicken, and returning champion of probably the most guest spots on this podcast ever, Justin Robert Young.
Yeah, I'm back.
Well,
nothing that can stop me.
I do
mostly because, like Blizzard, I'm in league with the Chinese Communist Party.
And for the record, I do have to apologize that I've never made an appearance. It's just that I was so intimidated because everybody on the panel has already hit Legend, and I only just hit Legend for the fourth time.
Boy, I don't think you listened to the show.
Oh,
I don't think you listened to the show, Brian. That's just an untrue statement.
Wait, so one of you guys have not hit Legend?
It's been a while since I've been on the show. Garrett, can I use the C word?
Clegend.
Can I call Brian the C word?
Clegend, yes. That's a special word for people who've hit it their fourth time over the weekend.
Just curious.
That's fine.
It depends on what C word you're referencing, Justin. I'll let you be the judge on that.
Clemency. That's what he's gonna need for being such a ween.
It's great. Yeah. So, Brian, you and I were playing some Hearthstone over the weekend, and I was just like, "You should come on the show." And you're like, "Yeah, let's do that." And I was like, "Wednesday?" And you're like, "Sure." And that's how this happened. And so we haven't had a 4-stack in a while. So I'm just going to call this TAC-sgiving. I don't care if, Jocelyn, you've already had your turkey because you're in Canada land where you get to have it. Honestly, I think more conveniently enough weeks ahead of the next big holiday. But
it's really good spacing, honestly. I get turkey in October, and then I get to start my Christmas halfway through November like a normal person, and I don't have to wait until Thanksgiving is over. I can just have 6 weeks of Christmas. It's brilliant.
I mean, spoken like someone who clearly has not visited the States on November 1st, we don't wait for Thanksgiving to be over to start Christmas either. But nonetheless, we're going to just have a big, fat, fun Thanksgiving hang today with our buddies from Night Attack here on the Angry Chicken.
Heck yeah, dude. You sent us some notes, and I read them very fastidiously, which is why I want to start on item 1. What happened last week, and why is everybody upset at Blizzard?
So this happened more than a week ago, but last week was kind of the culmination of it being the only thing anyone wanted to talk about on the Hearthstone subreddit, which, as you know, is actually the hive mind of Hearthstone, and anything that's on the subreddit is true, factual, and an accurate representation of every single player's experience in the game. And so what happened was, Brian, I love that you just hit Legend for I don't know how many times now, and you're not aware of the fact
he literally said 4.
Okay, I missed it.
8 times.
Did you ever see Jerry Maguire? I'm Jerry O'Connell in that, where it's like I'm the guy who's like, I just want to play football. I just put my head down and hit that ladder.
Yeah.
I have
so
no
at no
idea
point
about the politics of anything.
This was interesting though. So Justin, you're muted. Or did we have a hardware failure?
No, how about this?
There you go.
I was trying to knock off the echo. Anyway, no, I would prefer that you not know how many times Brian has hit Legend, because don't worry, he'll remind you.
Well, I find this interesting because I know both of you do not tend to keep up with the hot takes of Hearthstone. You just play the crap out of it and move on with your happy lives. And so I find this entire angle to the Hearthstone world that we're currently living in wildly fascinating because it is so completely divorced from my experience. So Brian and Justin, at no point during the past few weeks you've been playing the game and you haven't thought to yourself, I'm not getting gold for my quests, and there's a new button anytime I'm back in the menu that has a exclamation point, wants me to click on things.
Yeah, you know what? The only thing I've noticed is that the graphic design of the new quests layout sucks. Like, who phoned that in the night before it was due?
It does.
That's basically what people say about this entire patch.
Okay.
Like, who phoned it in the night before it was due? Because they're so buggy.
It does seem that there was a lot of loving care going into Hearthstone, and I don't want to put this on Blizzard because at a certain point they have to pay attention to certain things, but it does seem like we're now in the game manager world of Hearthstone. It doesn't quite seem like it has the polish it once did.
I think that's fair. We talked about it a little bit last week, and my defense is, I think a year ago on the show I was quoted as yelling at one point, "For the love of God, try something new. I don't care if it's done correctly, just surprise me."
You voted for Trump.
Jesus. Wow. I was excited to have you two on. You're not disappointing. You are not disappointing with how raucous I thought this episode would be.
40 minutes late, and then you should have seen the pre-show. Like, just horrified.
Yeah, but no, they changed how we get gold, man. They basically changed the layout of the free-to-play experience of how you complete quests, get gold, get rewards. They added a battle pass, which I don't know how much either you play any other video game on Earth, but that's a pretty hot way to do your free-to-play business right now. But then you can also buy in so that you level up faster, or in Hearthstone's case, you level up faster and get cosmetic rewards that you will only get along the reward path if you bought in. So
they're asking you to pay to do some side quest stuff?
No, you would still progress. It's just if you pay, you're going to progress faster, and you're going to get some like hero portraits that you wouldn't get if you didn't pay at certain unlocks. But they're just cosmetic.
That's dumb.
The big.
Like, why don't they just let me pay to buy cards? How about that?
They'll let you do that too.
Oh, they still let you do that, Justin. That hasn't changed.
No.
Don't worry.
I just want a legendary card. I want the one legendary that I need.
Oh.
I just want to buy it.
Oh, you want a good return on investment. Okay, sorry. That's
overcharge. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. You have no idea how high and drunk I am playing this game. I will buy the card that I need.
Well, and they of course kind of let you do that, but you got to do this weird kabuki show where it's like, no. You buy the cards, open the packs, then throw the cards in the trash, and somebody watches how many cards you throw in the trash, and they write it on the ledger. The ledger is then given to an old wizard who speaks the ancient incantation, who transforms it into fairy dust. And the fairy dust, I'm sorry, which card did you want? Just give me the $20.
And also double that entire experience if you are incapacitated mentally and you're dusting gold cards, and then you make a gold version of the card.
All right, now Justin, now you've flown off the handle.
Definitely done multiple times.
Okay, my whole bit was going to be like, only an idiot would do that, and certainly not more than once. But
like at least 3 times I've done that.
How? Literally how?
Because you just see the number you need, and you're in gold because you're dusting all the gold cards, and then I forget. It's been a while since I've done it, and I forget what a legendary costs, and next thing you know, I have a gold legendary I'll never use again.
Something California legal weed.
Justin, if anyone should be mad at Hearthstone, it's you, and I don't know why anyone else is complaining on Reddit.
Well, look, I don't know why the Reddit gets as mad as it does about the things that it does. That being said, I can see why they're annoyed about this. Oh, I don't know if it should be that annoyed. I don't know. It should be every post, but I get the gripe.
That's been you more or less just TLDR'd our last 2 weeks of the program, which is, sometimes to take things too far, we kind of get it in this case. So,
although Brian, you and I were talking about the genre of Reddit post that everybody has the purity test of like, my name is Andrew Garfield, and I was Spider-Man, and I've been playing.
I was like, are we going with a famous name?
Spider-Man guy?
Yeah, and I've been playing Magic the Gathering since '91, and this is the first time I'll never play a card game.
Yeah, dude. As we all know, what's funny is the times that games crater, very rarely is it accompanied with the credible PR release on Reddit of somebody announcing that they're going to pull their account. It's like the louder people complain that no, I mean it for reals, bro, I'm going to pull my account, is the most certainly, it's going to last forever. But I don't understand why anybody. It's like, do these people think that somebody was on the fence of giving them credibility, and then they heard, oh wait, you've been around that long? Well, now I know, and it's a real problem.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But they are making adjustments. They went further down the track. And basically from level 33 on, they're yanking out the card pack rewards, which are just excruciatingly lame because it takes a lot more XP to even unlock those levels. So to get a single pack, which is 100 gold's worth of stuff, it feels horrible. So they're pulling those out and they're dumping a lot more gold in at those points. So it seems like they're listening and trying to course correct, but as Joss's head movement is kind of yielding I think the feel of all of this, which is just like, why couldn't I don't know. I know hindsight is 2020, but boy, yeah, it really does feel like, why couldn't you just gotten it right the first time with this? Because it's boring economy stuff, and we got to do a lot of math. Well, I mean, that's really, I think.
Somewhere there was a podcast where somebody 1 year ago said, please just try something new. And Blizzard listened.
Yeah,
this is Planet
the one
Money.
time
I'm
they
Brian
listened to
Brushwood with
Garrett.
Justin Robert Young.
It's my fault, and you can all blame me. It would be wonderful for ratings if it was legitimately my fault and everyone could point to me. Please come watch The Angry Chicken, where the guy who's responsible for all this is a regular host. Yeah, I think that's the crux of everyone's real complaint. We didn't really get to the economy of it, which was just a lot of the pre-talk about it was developers saying, you will definitely get more in this system than you got before. And then it lands, and we definitely are not. It's just there's all kinds of math out there. You can go to Out of Cards and see their spreadsheets.
This is where you cut back to the suits, and they're like, if you'll remember, we didn't say what you would get more of. You'll just get more. Turns out the answer is headaches.
Oh.
And they also the wrong community to get into a math war with. A card game? No, the most annoying math people in the world play this game. You do not want to get into the decimals with these animals.
Repeating, of course.
That's a really good way to put it, because we have multiple math master degree members of our community.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And even they are stirred up, but it's the calmest scathing takedown you've ever seen, because it's a scathing takedown in the form of a spreadsheet. It's just oh yeah, no, if you carry this and subtract it by last month's earnings, we're getting boned.
Once you understand the master's level math in this spreadsheet, you're going to say, oh, snap.
If you will consult my document, sickburn.xls, I think the case rests.
That's the thing. It's oh, you made the math nerds angry. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I'm personally just having such an interesting time with this, because I'm really enjoying the new expansion, and I haven't been particularly into normal standard Hearthstone for a while. Battlegrounds really kind of whisked me away for a bit, and so I'm now at this point where yes, I see the oil fire happening over on Reddit, but I kind of just want to get into Discord and talk to my buddies about what decks are working.
Well, and what decks are working?
A lot. a lot it would turn out. Actually, Brian, why don't we ask you? Because you just hit Legend for the 4th time, I think. Is it the 4th time? Could you inform me how many times you hit Legend?
At some point, it's too many numbers. I'm not a math person.
Actually, no. Let me.
XLS doesn't go that high.
Was it the 3rd time or the go forth yourself?
Let me tee this up actually better. Brian, I hear that you've been playing like a cutting edge deck that has more new cards in it than any other deck list in the game.
Okay, and this is where I'm going to cop to the fact that like every so often, it turns out that if you stand right in the middle of a tornado, it's fairly calm. Like in a middle of everybody trying out the new meta.
I believe it's a hurricane. I'm not sure if you stand in the middle of a tornado, it's actually all that calm.
The tornado is pretty bad.
Tornado's bad.
We got 2 Floridians on this podcast to this
Hurricane.
I don't think the eye of the tornado is a thing.
A tornado in a hurricane is okay. The important thing is that man, I was trying to play it was like a pure paladin, and it was just not happening. I was at the bottom of rank 5, just totally ratcheted, banging across at the bottom, and I was like, screw it. And so I did and I wish I could even take credit for this, but I went to hsreplay.net and it seemed like there was a high win rate on just straight up old fashioned OG face hunter, and I was like, well, let's do this, and just so I can Hulk smash some stuff for a little bit, and then 6 hours later I hit Legend and with an 80% win rate, and I do not claim any kind of credit at all. It's just I was so angry that whoever showed up, I'm like, I'll bet you hope this happens, and I would just do the opposite of everything, and it seemed to work. So I tried to share this gift with you, Garrett, but it seemed like the Hearthstone gods were not there for you. Cthulhu did not smile upon you.
No, they did not. So Friday. I tweeted this out. I was spamming every friend that I knew would give a remote shit on Discord with my HS Replay pie chart from my day of play, because I had over like 20 plus games logged, and I ended my Friday session with a 90% win rate with Totem Shaman.
Nice.
Which is amazing, and that was the day after I'd run across several Totem Shamans. So I've never played it, but I've ruined people who are playing it, and it looked to me from the outside. You could correct me on this, but as a face hunter who was just trying to smash everything, the gameplay seemed to be extend yourself a bunch of credit on credit cards, spend all the mana to boost and duplicate your totems, and then smash. And it's like the moment I saw that, it became very simple. Oh, is that a totem? Kill the totem. Oh, wait, you can never extend your credit cards, and now you're dead. That was my antagonist version of it. How close am I understanding that archetype?
Yes, except you can duplicate the legendary totem in the same turn if you have the right combination of cards, and then the range jack you can do especially as a hunter.
Which turn do you hit that win condition on?
If you go second and you have the coin, you could do it on turn 3. Because it's a 6 mana combo, and if you have Lightning Bloom, which boosts 2 mana, you have the coin for an additional 1, because it's 3 mana for the legendary totem, it's 3 mana to give it +2/+2 and duplicate it with Totemic Reflection. There's also a 7 mana combo with Splitting Axe that you can do as well. So you have 4 cards total that can duplicate your 3 mana card. 2 of those are another 3 mana card, and 2 of them are a 4 mana weapon.
Yeah, maybe I just got lucky.
It's a whole lot more complicated than hitting your hero power and summoning leper gnomes.
It does. And when I came back on Sunday. I had a thing on Saturday. I came back on Sunday. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Let's sit down. I'm gonna just slam a bunch more Totem Shaman games. Let's just push through. I won like 1 game. I had like a 20% win rate. I'm like, what the hell happened? Looking back on it and the actual stats, Pure Paladin, not the best matchup for Totem Shaman. They do have quite a few outs to actually, it doesn't even matter if you duplicate it. They can just basically, not equality, but Libram of Justice and consecrate your board. It doesn't matter how many damn copies of that legendary you made. That legendary is gone. And also I had some awful draws. That deck can draw very, very poorly. And I think I found the equilibrium of, you had a 90% win rate one day. Well, here's your 20, so that you get down more into the 60% win rate territory, and you can stop screeching like an acolyte with a cardboard sign on the corner that this is the end of days, and if you're not playing Totem Shaman, you're crazy.
Well, and luckily I spread the good word of Face Hunter. And
Oh,
it worked
yes.
out perfectly for you, right?
Yes, and we went on to win. I have my okay. You see this right here? I've got win loss written down on a piece of paper. All right, so game 12 is where you came on board, Brian. Game 12 loss. Game 13 loss. Game 14 loss. Game 15 loss. Game 10 win. Game 16 win. 17 loss. 18.
Like, that's not how numbers work. I think maybe that's your problem, Garrett.
Yeah, 18. My 6 was very haphazardly drawn. It looks like a 0. Game 18 loss, and then Brian hung up.
In my defense, to anyone who's been watching Netflix, everything is a drum. You just weren't playing it right. That's yeah.
I wasn't playing your drum set with you telling me how to play it, right?
No, there actually was an interesting thing because there was a moment where there were a couple of moves that were totally obvious to you, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, and you were like, "Well, this is how you play." And I was like, "No, your job is not to actually win or do well. Your job is to make the other person angry. What are you doing?" Like it was just constantly to
You're playing Hearthstone wrong.
well, or at least for what happened to work. And I'll be the first to admit that, weather patterns change, the meta changes. Sometimes you get lucky, good draws, bad draws, whatever. But I know that magical day where in 6 hours I went from 5-star 0 to legend. It was all I was only playing for an audience, and my only goal was to mock and make the other person angry and stop them from playing their predicted thing. So I found that interesting.
I wasn't there for your stream, but while you were coaching me through your Face Hunter play, you were just you sounded like the Joker, because you just kept talking about like, oh, this person has a plan. Look at this person with their plan.
Yeah.
That's quite literally how I played all day long. So I can't guarantee that will always work, but yeah,
the deck you wound up going to Legend with really revolves around you just like harassing them until you hit that lore keeper. Right? And then you reorder the deck.
Well, and even then I would do stuff like intentionally sacrifice what is it? Is it the Dragon Bane or whatever?
Bane.
Like I would be like, oh my God, what would really drive him nuts is having to face a Dragon Bane and knowing that he has. Okay, so here's the way I play, and it works some of the time. Is I think of it as two things. It's their job to wipe my butt. It's my job to poop all over the board. And if they're not cleaning up poop, then I need to throw more poop out there. And then the moment they clean up the poop, I'm like, oh, did you like that? Oh, you want more poop? And then the thing I love the most is those stains that they can't wipe up because they're busy hibernating for 2 turns. And they're all like, oh, I wish I could clean up that stain right there. But you can't, because I'm just going to poop all over the board.
Please go to the ad read right now.
That's great. You're in a very dramatically fashion just describing how to play Face Hunter, which is go face. Like why are you trading go face?
I mean, first of all, pooping on someone's face is gross. You poop on the board. I don't understand what's so hard about this.
This is why Garrett can't play the deck.
I was wondering where the line was. We found Brian's line. We found Brian's line, everybody.
Going back in time also, last month I was playing Libram Paladin, and I liked it because it was so similar to the dynamic with the magnetic mechs with the mech hunter. And again, it was one of those things where like my favorite matchup was always against a rogue, because rogues are like, ooh, I love cleaning up the board. And it's like, oh yeah, are you ready for this? All over. And they're like, oh, did you clean up most of that? Guess what? I got a whole number 3 of that.
Just in case you were wondering, this is his favorite metaphor. And he doesn't change it. There's no other version of this. It's always about poop and butts.
Hey, Brian, what was it like when you met your wife?
In public, it's always the same.
I'm separated. No.
I need an anecdote.
I guess if a piece of advice to take away is try not playing to win. And I know that sounds so counterintuitive and dumb, but try just to make the other person angry. And it's really wild because you start to see them play irrationally because they're having to do things like you lay in front of them an opportunity that's like, well, I've got to take this. And meanwhile, they're of course like the moment you see a Cthulhu or something come out, anything that indicates where it's like, oh, you expect to live long enough to see Jesus come back from the dead. Well, I'm sorry, I'll be cutting off your head long before that happens. Or other times it's like, oh, you think you're gonna get me and you're gonna attack me. Well, that's fine. That'll be hard to do with my blade against your neck. Basically, always just go face. That's apparently.
Are you saying that
face?
the strategy for face hunters to go face? So many ways
to say the same thing, and they're all inappropriate for this podcast.
I mean, yeah, all right.
It wouldn't be Thanksgiving without your crazy uncle making things awkward. So
no, exactly. I'm just the crazy aunt. I'm swirling my vermouth and I'm buying gold cards when I don't need it. Complaining about the new reward track.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So Brian is playing nothing new. Justin, dude, I've been seeing you on Battle.net a lot. What have you been playing?
So I was playing that deck that Brian did a lot better than me with. And then when the new cards came out, I wanted new cards. And so I went to Death Rattle Hunter.
Yes.
Which has been really fun. Aside from having to remember when you've played Death Rattle cards, which on mobile, which is 90% of my games, is sometimes challenging. Otherwise, it's actually really fun because you are never really out of a game. Like you're always one turn away from totally swinging it back.
You just reminded me that I have a second Garrett was right to levy at Jocelyn. Hey, Joss.
Oh, no. What?
You remember our conversation about Rinling's rifle?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's in 200 decks that are tearing up tier 1 meta according to HS3
Oh, dude, Josh, you thought that would suck?
I thought it was not as good as the existing hunter weapon. Just the Eagle Horn Bow, like 3 mana, interacts with secrets, gets more charges, like
free secrets. As a reformed mage player, free secrets will always tickle me. I love a free secret. Ooh, give it to me.
I think the new Secret Mage is the dark horse right now. It does not have a lot of games played on HS3 Play, and when I run into it, it murders me. It's like,
so this is Secret Face Hunter.
No, sorry.
No,
you mentioned
Mage.
Reformed Mage player. And
Secret Mage. Gotcha.
Yeah, I haven't.
I might have to go for that.
I haven't seen a ton of these Secret Mages, but I really think this is a dark horse deck right now. Like,
it's 61.
Yeah.
Oh, a 62 version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Flak Mage is gross. Like, I love that card, but it's so powerful and just destroys everything I'm trying to do whenever I play against it.
I see a few legend cards I'm going to be paying double for.
Yep. Apparently, I need to craft some golden occult conjurers, so, we're not alone. I'm logged in right now. That's why it's great. I don't have it. It's terrible.
I'll have to screw around with this.
Yeah, it's just we're like back to a Christmas tree secret meta, but it's not just Paladin that can do it. And actually, Paladin's not. I
think it's really good though, because like it was so annoying when it was hot, because it was one deck and it was so popular and it was OP and it just kind of wrecked everything. But if you've spread the wealth a little bit, and now you don't really know how it's going to go and there's different secrets, it's like interesting. It might kill the entire game in 2 weeks, but for right now, I'm enjoying it.
I love this. I love that you remember Secret Paladin, because I still remember a time where it was probably the first time you and I had ever hung out in person where you explained to me that you don't play video games or have time for them.
Yeah,
and then Hearthstone happened to you.
Oh God, yeah. Well, because it's mobile. And that's the thing, is I still don't play anything on PC or on console. Like
you realize that one of the major three consoles is a mobile console, yeah?
Right, like because the Switch is not a console. Is that what we're getting at?
Okay, no. I wound up getting a Switch and I played 2 games on Switch. Other than that,
Hearthstone has just
it's ruined you. You're a gamer now, Jury.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you,
man. I love gaming.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna comment on all gaming things.
I mean, you've already got blue backlighting, so you're already halfway there. You've got a Twitch account. I'm sorry
exactly.
to break this to you. You are now required by law to give hot takes on Reddit.
I am. I'm gonna make a really, really awful gendered takes and then buy a chair with a higher back.
He figured it out.
I feel very attacked right now.
No, the funniest thing is that like I make my living effectively in politics now, which I don't know if you've noticed is a little heated and specifically was over the last year. And my primary recreation is wrestling, which is among the most toxic, awful communities on the planet. So I kind of feel like I am an honorary gamer. I feel like I'm drunk. I'm drunk because I hear my goddamn echo back to me, and I keep stuttering. All right.
We should disclose that we're doing. We had some audio hiccups, so Justin's actually riding on the coattails of my audio feed, which means he has to hear his own voice slapping back at him, which of course makes it very difficult to keep on going.
It is very, very difficult. I tried it once and have never done it again.
Let's just imagine I'm drunk. I might just
start drinking.
We're gonna ask you to just do the rest of the show as Captain Morgan, and it'll just all work out. Not enough pirate decks right now. That doesn't work. When pirate is back in fashion, we'll do a role play episode.
Do me, call me and I'll do a Captain Morgan deck review for a pirate deck.
Done. That's gonna get all of the YouTube views, hundreds of them,
and all of the takedown notices from the Captain Morgan Corporation.
Bottlers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put that cease and desist right next to the one I have from Tabasco. Yeah, Joss, what have you been playing?
Mostly that Death Rattle Hunter that we talked about last week, but I mean, there's so much in just the Hunter realm right now. Like we've already talked about Face Hunter, Death Rattle, but the Highlander version too. Like Hunter just has a lot of ways to play right now, and I've seen quite a lot of this Highlander with like a lot of where I mean, I don't want to talk about that stupid rifle again, but there are a lot of Darkmoon cards in this one too.
I had to talk about Life Drinker for like 2 years. So I mean,
that's true.
Just all I'm saying is get comfortable.
But yeah, like I love the Highlander decks. I'm so glad that they found a way to kind of like keep that theme going because there's so much space to just mess around with them and do cool stuff and slot things in and out. Like they're just like everyone's Highlander deck is a little bit different. So then like I see people playing against me on ladder and I'm like, wait, you're playing that card? What are you doing? Oh, Highlander. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I like the innovation.
Highlander is a weird one because, like, for example, a dumb, simple deck like the Face Hunter that I'm playing right now is very cheap. And because you're doing 2x of all the cards and all that, whereas Highlander, because you have to have all the individual cards, it's more expensive. I would love to know kind of a breakdown demographically of like, whether or not there's sort of a privileged status in terms of maybe, older people tend to play Highlander decks because they can easily afford, to spend human money on all of that stuff. And then also whether or not PC players tend to play it more because like on mobile with the Face Hunter, I'm on an exercise bike playing because it's like, there's only one move, you go for the face. But meanwhile, for a Highlander deck, you want to be behind a PC with, some kind of overlay reminding you of what cards you played and what you have left.
So you're saying only the privileged of us among us are playing?
I didn't. First of all,
PCs.
I said you. I said you people. All you people need to check your privilege. Some of us are doing a dumb old Face Hunter and only making it to Legend for the fourth time.
Yeah, well, the current like popular Highlander list, most of the all but one legendary are older, so you may already have them. There's only 5 legendaries total, which is a decent amount, but there's plenty of non-Highlander lists that run 5 or more legendaries, and it only has one epic, which is really kind of where the insidious cost of a lot of decks come in, because epics are a shit ton of dust. And currently the most popular Highlander list is only running and because it's Highlander, it's a 1 copy of Snake Trap. It's the only epic in the entire list. So, which
again is an OG Hearthstone card. So, I mean, I would guarantee that everyone playing Hunter's got to have a Snake Trap.
Yeah.
And you only need 1. You don't need 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, which, you know, age doesn't necessarily, it's not technically cheaper, but better chance you may have actually found the card by now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the
Which
worst.
would be an interesting way for them to like change up the economy, because I've seen a lot of people talking about that too, as the like with the whole reward track conversation, is how just expensive, and we've talked about it in the past too, how expensive dust costs actually are. And it would be really interesting if they would like change all the old expansions. Like if it's not the most recent expansion, just make stuff cheaper to craft. It's like, yeah, the new hotness, make it expensive, sure. But all the old expansions, so they make it like half off.
so we're whales. Brian, Justin,
Yes,
I don't know do you have a budget? Are you free to play?
Yeah, I budget about so one of the things that I really respect about Hearthstone, say what you will about any kind of freemium model or whatever, what I like about Hearthstone from the beginning is that in order to even have a reason to spend money, you have to get good enough that you've played long enough that whatever money you spend, they've already earned. Like it takes several months of play to get good enough to where it matters to get to the upper tiers where you want to buy, have enough dust to get specific cards or whatever. So it's almost like you play the game and fall in love with it first, and then you have to pay essentially a tax once or twice a year, you know, 60, $100. So that's what I tend to do. Now, a side effect of that is that I found that I've drifted to specialize in a couple of archetypes with Hunter and Paladin for sure. But it's like maybe I'll dabble a little bit in Shaman, but then others of them, like I'm very quick to dust stuff from Warlock class or from in general, Rogue in particular just requires too much real-time attention, because oftentimes they're those crazy 30-move combos that you have to do in a single turn. And it's like,
the shenanigans.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Rogue is well known for shenanigans around here.
Right. Well, so here's what I'm wondering is, man, I would love if they did a novelty event where, like, for 1 month, all of your dust, like all your decks went flipped over to 2 different other archetypes or whatever. Like all of a sudden you were just wealthy in whatever the opposite of you used to be wealthy in terms of archetypes or heroes
or classes. You mean? So you want them to just be like, surprise, Brian, now you have
your Hunter's now a warrior.
You have all the Warlock and Warrior cards. Deal with it.
That's quite literally what I'm asking for. I think that would be an amazing month-long dream, and especially if they just said,
you think Reddit's rioting now?
Oh no, I would love it. I would love it beyond words, man. That would be crazy. God, I would love it.
Can I ask you guys a general hypothetical?
Sure.
How much do you think it would cost, from Blizzard's perspective, to just have all the cards by subscription? How much money would you have to pay per month? And you wouldn't own them. You're leasing them. As soon as you stop paying, you lose the cards that you don't already own. But you could just play any deck you want if you pay X amount per month.
It's funny you should mention that, because I'm holding this document. This is an internal document from Blizzard, and they actually ran the numbers. And
you read Mandarin?
It turns it turns out it would cost them. There's only one line. It says here, it would cost their business. That's what it would cost. That's what it would cost them.
Yeah. Wait, you $100 a month? 200?
I mean,
I think probably like 30. I think
it'd have to be. I think it'd be 3 figures. I think it would have to be 3 figures to make up
$100 a month
for the whales you would lose.
Well, and here's the big thing is the mere existence of that privileged class would cause everybody to leave the game. And that's one thing that Hearthstone has also been smart about, is you feel like you're getting a reward with all the quests. All of that is labor incentives, because Blizzard understands that you are both the consumer and the product, because what everybody needs is somebody else to play, and what they want is somebody to play a certain type of class, or to step out of their comfort zone, or to be less good, or whatever, which is why they build these incentives on a daily basis. And if just knowing that out there is somebody spending $100 a month, all of a sudden the quote unquote working class free to play players who every day wake up and get another quest and get another incentive, they would just throw up their hands and leave, and then you would have nobody for those $100 whales to play against.
Wait, do we assume that we don't have $100 a month players?
We definitely do.
Okay, may I reintroduce you to the Kabuki show? You buy the packs, then you take the packs to the wizard, and the wizard says 5 words.
We understand how the dust works, Brian. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
For the record, I've definitely spent $100 this month.
Oh, without a doubt.
We're right at the beginning of an expansion. Like, it really falls off afterwards, which, like, I think you can basically buy the pre-order now and then maybe another set of packs. It's kind of remains to be seen right now because this is the first time we're also going to have a mini expansion. So we're going to have 170 cards in this like expansion cycle instead of 135 that we're used to. So maybe, but I still think like over the course of an expansion to get every card, with completing my dailies and the special events and stuff, like I might spend $150 an expansion. So like the idea would be with any subscription, you want the whales to be paying less, but the subscription to be attractive enough that it's going to make people who are free to play start to give you money. If it's $100 a month, they're never going to do that. So you have to find that balance. And I don't know. I think maybe they could do it. I don't think it's necessarily a crazy out there proposal, especially if you included, say, the battle pass in it as well. So it's like, hey, have access to this is your one-stop Hearthstone shop, pay $30 a month and boom, everything. Yay, go play Battlegrounds, go do Battle Pass.
What if you only even had the option to get it if you're in that final 10 rank track? Like, what is it? Diamond? Is Diamond what happens?
Oh, I see.
Like
you had a certain rank on ladder?
Depending on rank, so that you can...
Because at that point, you're playing against people who have settled on decks. And so it really wouldn't be that much of a competitive advantage.
So it's like a competition. So you can only start paying to win after you've proven you're good enough. It's a merit. It's a merit kleptocracy is what you're looking for.
So we're gonna
get, rank doesn't have anything to do with your skill, though. Your skill is your star bonus at the beginning of the month. Your rank is your investment in time every month.
Okay,
rank doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you could be in bronze and playing against people who have every single card in the game.
Okay, let me just throw this out here. What would it take for Blizzard to have sort of a pool of people you could hire to play on your behalf and just get you all the way up to Legend, but you could play the very last game with a coach?
I mean,
you can do that right now through coaching or hiring someone to go play on your account. It breaks the EULA, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it other than risking your account getting banned.
Breaks the EULA, but it defines the meta.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so much of this that is also tied up in this is how card games have always worked since the beginning of time. So say we all.
I guess that's for me. The question is more interesting as a how much it would cost. I don't know if it's really interesting in a would Blizzard do it situation, but more like if you were to put a number on it, what would it be?
Yeah. I mean, the more we think about it, the more chat's actually getting technical with this. They're bringing up good points that it probably isn't even close to $100 a month. It'd probably be lower than that. Really? It is an interesting thought. It's just that, I don't know. We don't talk too much about the business side of things because we're never going to get transparency on it. So it's like, who the hell knows?
That's the perfect position. We get to speculate wildly.
Make
things up without any kind of repercussions.
So I'm going to step in there and say that's just like, I don't think they would ever, like Hearthstone, I think would have to be dropping players like absolute insanity before they would even consider a subscription model when the current model is just, hey, you might throw more money at us. There's the chance that you will just not stop sending money to us. And I don't see why they would abandon that model.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't see it as an abandonment. It would just be a way to get more money out of your hardcore players or the ability to spin up into the game faster than you would otherwise.
Well, and I suppose what I was trying to express silly early was what economists call a negative externality of that is like Hearthstone does a very good job of maintaining the fantasy that it's possible to make it like the American dream just without spending a single dime and just making it on merit alone, and to even have that publicly available in any format, in which they already do, yes, but you have to do the kabuki play to get there. I feel like there's regardless of what anyone will pay, they can't publicly offer anything like that.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. Is Jocelyn Jeff Bezos?
So $79.99.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really interesting, right? And because we are in the digital landscape, it's like why not explore other things? But I think it just comes back to, well, it wouldn't be as profitable.
Yeah, I don't think they need to right now. They might in the future. There's a lot of people that are moving away from a loot box style of monetization in games and moving towards battle passes and whatever. And that's all card packs are, is loot boxes. So, yeah. I mean, if that suddenly for them somehow becomes a lot less profitable, then they'll explore other avenues. And I think that, you know, the battle pass and subscriptions are things that people are, or I guess developers just are using more and more now because there was such a pushback against, well, I mean, legally against loot boxes because of the gambling thing. But then also, there's been pushback just against microtransactions in general. So people now, developers are saying, well, okay, sure, you don't like loot boxes, you don't like microtransactions, then here's a subscription, here's a battle pass, here, you know, pay us X dollars for this period of time and play our game.
Justin, I just realized, you know what they could get away with is if they created like some kind of Splinter Shard reality where it's like, it's officially not part of the canon in the game. Like the game is the game, but this is a Splinter Shard that you could pay, let's say $30 a month to join in. And it's only everybody in there has also spent $30 a month. Everybody has all the cards and it's just a separate parallel world to everything, kind of like the VIP tables at Las Vegas, where it's like the rest of us workadays are spending $5 a hand blackjack, and these heiresses
big wigs
have their $100. Yeah, exactly.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. Well,
that's something.
BRB. Justin and I are going to start a Splinter Shard reality. Hold on.
Yeah.
There has been. It's been a long time.
None of
since
this is canon.
It's been a long time since this has come up. We used to get emails about something similar to that a lot, where people were like, "Well, could I just get matched up against players who have a similar collection size to me? Like, why am I getting thrown to the sharks?" And they sort of added that with like a lower ladder that you only see if you're a brand new player, and the only people that are in there are brand new players, and you can't lose ranks. You can only ever eventually climb up to join the rest of the player base. But it still feels like the kind of thing that they could explore, and would be kind of interesting. Because like at the end of the, I mean, I don't know, I would go to bat for it by saying like, even if I could still have like a competitive experience and climb on a excruciating, like a complete brand new free to play account, I've got like barely any cards, I think I would still feel the pull to want to unlock more and want to invest more, because it's just the other decks that have all the crazy cards look fun to play.
Yeah.
There's still something to aspire to there, I think, even if you
but sometimes they don't fit your play style, or they're harder to do than you would think, or they're not fun. And it just looks good when a good person is playing it.
And they wreck your face.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, are we coming back? Do we need like Hearthstone Blockbuster? Do we need to be able to rent a deck and just be like, do I even like it? Is it even good?
Oh,
now that's what I would pay for. Yeah.
Like I would pay. And you know what? You don't even have to make it US dollars. You could make it in gold. Just say, hey, for $100, here's a very fine deck. You can take it for a test drive for 10 rounds. Go. And then it's like, yeah, I'm in for that.
I'd be into it. Oh, use it as a gold sink would be an interesting thing to do. I would do it.
What? Oh, hold on. What about this? What if you could rent out your decks when you're not using them?
They'll never do that.
Let's Uber this.
Let's make a full-on like auction house.
Exactly, right? Where it's just like, hey, man, I'm not using them. You go ahead, go nuts, give it a try.
Now Jocelyn really is going to become the Jeff Bezos of Hearthstone. She's going to be like, well, I get so lucky every time I open packs. I've got every legendary. So you don't want to rent Garrett's busted piece of crap version of Death Rattle Hunter that isn't even running this off. You want to run mine because I've got the real deal. No, they would never. I don't think they would do that. Oh. If for no other reason than it makes me think of, oh boy, I still wish I could trade cards. And the second they let us interact with other people's collections, everyone's going to be coming out of the woodwork like, let us trade cards, you monsters.
That would be so dope. God, I would love to trade cards.
Hey, somebody asked to be my friend, and I said yes.
Oh no, why would you do that?
Because quite honestly, nobody had ever asked to be my friend before.
Oh, Brian, will you be my friend?
I know the real answer to this. It's because we tried to get into a game together and his friend list was full, so we actually had an extra spot, so the friend request came through.
Yeah, that's probably the real thing. But this dude, it was like around rank 2 or whatever, and the guy was just like, hey man, that was a fun game. But I'm like, yeah, cool. And then I hit Legend later that hour, and then like at 6 hours later, the guy was like, I finally got there, and I guess I have a friend now. That's the headline is I have a friend.
You had a legitimately positive social
That's
experience.
amazing.
Yes, I understand
I was expecting
that's
like string of obscenities.
I understand that's a bit of a unicorn experience, which is why I wanted to share.
We've heard about that. I've heard way more terrible stories, but yeah, every once in a while we.
It's so funny. Like what? Now I had the other experience where somebody friended me just to say you're the worst player I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, we're both at rank 1. Like, why would you say that?
Do you know what they're like down in bronze?
There is basically, I don't know if you knew this, 2 types of people in the world, Joss. Those who floss every day and those who just might start. And that's me. And I might just start because of Quip's new refillable floss pick. I'm terrible about flossing, but I've gotten so much better since I got their floss pick. The thing is so cool.
I know. I'm so much better. As with everything that Quip has sent me, it's just made my oral health a priority in a way that I also don't even have to really think about it.
It's a passive priority. It's like a treasure in duels. It's just
so easy.
I pick it, my teeth that is, and it just keeps it's just there. It comes in this nice little like case, and it's got a built-in mirror, and the floss is stored in the case, and they have this own little handle, and you can restring it with a click. Restring. I don't want to restring things. What am I, a seamstress? It's just so straightforward. It's great. And as someone who likes everything bagels, it's a lot easier to get back in front of the camera. Let's just say that. And for our live streams, it legitimately has made my teeth more clean. So I can't recommend it enough. On top of their regular, you've heard us talk about their electric toothbrushes. We both have them. We're big fans. I legitimately gifted one to Katie for Christmas last year. That's how much I liked mine. I was like, I got to get one for Katie. I could have taken the long road, brought Katie on the show for like months and months and months and been like, hey, she's a new host. But no, I just, spent my own money on another one. It's on the mirror right now. And we take it with us every time we go anywhere. So if that all sounds good to you and you'd like to keep your teeth cleaner, floss more regularly, you should go check out Quip, and you can go to getquip.com/TAC. And if you go right now, you're going to get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/TAC, spelled GETQUIP.com/TAC. Quip, better oral health made simple. We thank them for their support. We thank you for supporting the brands that support us here at The Angry Chicken. But Josh, we also want to promote one more thing today while we're in our sponsor segment, and that's your Extra Life campaign.
Yeah, so we've been raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. We've done it for, I think it's been 9 or 10 years now that we've been doing this fundraiser, and we're doing quite well this year. Thanks to all of you guys for joining us in the streams. Whether you can donate or not, just sharing the link far and wide has done wonders. We're doing more streams. We have a stream coming up this Friday, November 27th, as well as on December 11th and on December 18th. So do tune in over at twitch.tv/JossPlays. And if you do have some money you'd like to throw towards the campaign, you can go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020.
Getting back to checking in with what you two wackos have been playing in Hearthstone. I don't know if you noticed, but there's 2 new modes. Have you either of you even messed with Battlegrounds or duels at all?
Whatever the duels, just forgive me, man. It just seems like a lot of work for a very long time. I did the beta test, and then I guess it's out now, and I'm afraid to play it because it just seems like you either get lucky with your upgrades or not. But I know that's the way I thought the whole game worked for a very long time till I learned. But it seems like those duels go for a long time.
Well, I mean, the individual games go about as long as a normal game of Hearthstone. But yeah, if you're trying to do trying to do like your entire run in a sitting? Because you don't have to.
That's hey man, it's me, Ed Bryan. Sorry, no, he's Ed Bryan.
Yeah. I haven't played duels at all. I was really into Battlegrounds, and then I got back into Standard. And eventually, when Standard bothers me, I'll play Battlegrounds again. But like by and large, I will say once Battlegrounds came out, I was very happy with my Hearthstone experience because either I was playing Standard or I was playing Battlegrounds, and I feel like that's my life for the rest until I die.
Well, then we'll just bring you back with some sort of death rattle resummon effect. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
They'll find some way to sign my will over to the Chinese.
Oh my gosh, man, that's a strategy. Hold on, Blizzard.
Are you gonna hold on? Do we need to get call up 1-800-10-cent?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing anybody does where it's like, hey, have a thing. All you have to do is sign over, like make us your beneficiary in a will. That's probably illegal.
That's likely illegal.
Yeah. I mean, in America for now.
We are entering the third bottle of wine territory of the Thanksgiving dinner.
This episode isn't going to go live, right? Like at this point, you're just humoring us.
Brian, are you just all Standard all the time?
Yeah, I wish I was more interesting. I used to go wild on the wild thing, but I never got into Battlegrounds. I liked Arena for a bit, but I just was filled with so much regret. I figured out that I'm not much of a strategist. I'm just a tactician. Like what I do very much like is to shop for a deck and then and play it very, very well to the best of my ability. The choice anxiety that comes from building decks of any variety, that was kind of a bummer for me in duels because I never really had any validation of whether or not I was making the right call or not. And then I would lose and I would never know if it's because I built the deck wrong or played it wrong. And I like knowing for a fact that when I lose on the standard ladder, it's because I played wrong, not because the deck is bad.
That's a solid lesson to learn.
Yeah, I'm also not a deck builder at all. So I do the same sort of thing is I find somebody else much smarter and better than me that has put together 30 cards that work. And I'm like, okay, I can follow a plan and make this work. So yeah, no, I have not engaged with duels very much at all, which I think is where a lot of the kind of disappointment, I guess, in Hearthstone right now comes from is I'm just like, oh man, everything feels a little half-baked, and then you gave us this mode that I don't really like. And, you know, if you could just do something 100% instead of a whole bunch of things like 50%, that would be great.
Which is so odd because Blizzard has the kind of polish reputation.
Yeah.
And then the whole like fully baked cookies sort of reputation. And like Battlegrounds was such an awesome addition. It was just like this perfect little middle ground between everything I love about the game. And there's nothing that even called me to duels. I haven't even thought about it.
I like the idea of duels very much, but what it reminds me of is I remember playing poker in college, and everybody got to call the game. And occasionally people would call one of these games where there's like 4 different wild cards. Like there's a Dr. Pepper where we're 10, 7, and 2 or something. We're all wilds. And it's like when you're playing, you're like, oh my God, I've got a full house. And you lay it down and you're like, haha, psych, 12 of a kind. And it's like, it's like when everything's wild, then there's no real consequences. And that's kind of the impression I got from my brief time at duels. And I'm sure there is a science to it, but it just seems like it spins out of control very quickly.
I mean, it's kind of one of the major selling points of the mode, because otherwise you'd just be playing normal ass Hearthstone with like card buckets. It'd be a slightly different spin on Arena. But yeah, like I don't mind it as much. I want to circle back around to you, Joss, and just I'm curious, because when you say you're not the biggest fan of duels, and you kind of wish they'd given their all to in a different direction. At any point, is there the voice in the back of your head going, boy, we can't cover all this shit on the show anyway. Do I really want another like really well fleshed out mode that vies for my hours?
Yeah, now let's get into it. The only real story is the media. What about us?
Yeah, I think, well, there's definitely the question of, game time and how do you find time to play everything? And that's not something that just applies to us by any stretch of the imagination. I think there's a lot of people that are engaging with Hearthstone right now that are getting a little bit overwhelmed. And I think that's kind of okay as far as Blizzard's concerned anyways, because what they want is you in their client all the time. Like if there's too much for you to do, they're totally okay with that. They're just like, if we're taking up all of your gaming time, we're winning. We like to win. So
that's actually not bad. It's sort of like that bit from Family Guy where it's like after the apocalypse, they're like, let's build 2 Denny's so that we could say, no, not that Denny's, the good one. Like, yeah, they're building 2 Denny's so that you can constantly be at the good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that kind of exists across like basically all of the Blizzard games that I can like off the top of my head thinking about. Like, do you play World of Warcraft? Well, you probably are focused on one main aspect of it, and there's so many different ways to play that frickin' game. And the same could be said for, I mean, StarCraft for longest time was a bad example because it was just like, do you want to be the best player or never win games? But then they eventually added like a co-op PvE mode and really fleshed that out, so you could go in there and just play that and avoid the PvP aspect entirely if you wanted to. And it kind of seemed like for the longest time Hearthstone didn't really have that. I know it had Arena, and I know we kind of make fun of Arena on this show because neither of us really play Arena, but like for the longest time it was kind of binary. You were either like all standard ladder all the time, you were all Arena all the time, and we knew some people who played everything, but it was they were more the exception than the norm.
And yeah.
I actually a quick note on Arena. I not only love that it exists, but I think it performs such an important service for the new players to become intimately acquainted with all of the different cards of the game. It's a great kind of fantasy realm where you could feel like, to be honest, it reminds me a little bit of the vibe that you were aiming for, Justin, when you were talking about a subscription where you have all the cards. That's what Arena feels like for a brief dream, and then you go back to reality, and then you know which cards that you want to get.
The one thing about the new play styles and even Battlegrounds is when I first played it, I'm like, this is so much fun for free. This is either going to get less fun or more expensive.
Or less free. Yeah.
like because Arena, you have to pay. And now it's up to you on how good you are about how long that ticket lasts. To play standard, you got to keep buying cards to keep up with the meta, blah, blah, blah. Battlegrounds, just go. And we all know that as good as Blizzard is at making games, they're always going to pay for their services one way or another.
Oh, yeah, they were going to monetize it for sure.
Yeah. And I just wonder whether or not that's part of the Battle Pass idea, is that like, cool, do you like all these different permutations of the game? Eventually get on this thing and you'll be able to keep playing them in all the best ways.
Yeah, it sure seems like it. So I don't know. It's like we're bouncing around so many different places, but like I like Battlegrounds enough that I'd be happy to buy in, and I do, for the extra hero options.
I'm sure the Reddit would be thrilled.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're stoked for it. But like I don't know. I still think Battlegrounds is a good value proposition, and I think
I am a World War II veteran. I've played Battlegrounds since Eisenhower. I will never play again.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. It's the interesting part about all, and also like I don't know, like I don't see anyone like signing their battle pass complaints. Hardcore Battlegrounds player. I'm not sure they're all that concerned with.
No.
Are you what? The Battlegrounds community hates the Battle Pass and hates the quest
doesn't
system
affect you.
That's their problem.
They're not getting anything.
They're not getting anything.
They're like,
I play as Battlegrounds
from our free game.
Yes.
So they're on the opposite
Why
side.
am I not rewarded?
So folks that care about like collecting cards and play standard and wild and whatnot are mad that they're not getting enough. And Battlegrounds players who are blissfully free of needing to give a shit are complaining that they're not getting anything.
They can't use the cosmetics. They don't need the packs. They don't need the gold. They literally do not need to engage in the Battle Pass XP system at all. But because some of the quests do not include their mode or can't be finished by playing Battlegrounds, they have their pitchforks out, Garrett. I don't know how you've been missing it.
We live in perfection. Why isn't this getting better?
Yeah.
where do we live? Paradise. What do we want? Something interesting. What do we want? Pain.
I mean, I am annoyed about Battlegrounds not completing a large majority of the quests that we are given, but I play like all the modes except Arena. Like, so that's
right.
That's
so you can you can use the rewards that are available to you in the track. And I think the messaging, and I don't know if this is like, it is Blizzard's fault, but I don't know if they purposely dropped this ball or if it just, they let too many people off the chain onto the Twitters and onto the Reddits to speak their mind as developers. But the messaging around this whole Battle Pass rewards thing was, play like you want, you'll get more than you were. And people are like, well, I'm playing like I want. I'm playing Battlegrounds and I'm getting less. God damn it.
That's fair. That is very fair. So is Narf's comment in the chat, which I didn't even think about, which they need gold for perks. That's right. You can still get Battlegrounds perks with gold. So that's
you
a good
can
point.
buy there. Okay.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that because I just give them my money.
How much does it cost in gold? I was going to say, I just give the money too. So how much does it actually cost?
I have it up in front of me. I don't know. I buy it with money.
Come on, Garrett. Come on.
I don't know this shit. I just give them my credit card and
that was
things
half
work
for
out.
you and half for chat room. Chat room will tell me how much it costs in gold. 2K. There you go. 2K.
Okay.
That's not too much in terms of gold to earn over the course of the 3 months that the Battlegrounds perks are active for, right? Like
it is in the new system. Oh.
Oh, level 34 in the reward track. Apparently, you earn 2,000 gold by then. So, yeah,
that's pretty deep in the reward track.
That's pretty. Yeah, that is pretty far.
So wait, the reward track, you got to like do a bunch of stuff to like make your way through.
Yeah, so they standardized the way things were rewarded in Hearthstone. So now any quest you complete or any activity that you do, so like games on ladder, playing arena, doing duels, doing battlegrounds rewards you. All of that and daily and weekly quests rewards you XP. That XP feeds into the battle pass and you get a whole lot of rewards right at the beginning. Each level is like 100 XP. You might complete a weekly quest and get 3 or 4 levels, but pretty quickly it gets up to 4, 5, 6,000 XP between levels, and it takes for freaking ever to get to the next level.
All I know is that there's a thing always going off in the top left-hand corner of Hearthstone now. It's always like fiddling with the daisies. You've done a thing.
Congrats,
And I'm
Jerry.
like,
You fiddled with your
rad.
daisy.
Yeah, I fiddled them. I didn't know what was coming.
As a primarily mobile player, would be great if I knew what I did to get half of the achievements that I've gotten. It's like, you got bling blong ding dong. I'm like, great, what did I do?
So
Did you know that you actually have to go in and click them to collect them, that you don't actually just get them?
yeah, Brian, by the way, and when you go in to collect them, they will tell you what you did.
They tell you what you did, yeah.
Sounds
Do
like
I have to
work.
go to journal?
There should, oh my God, doesn't this drive you crazy? I'm one of those people that has to clear all my notifications on all my things all the time. So the fact that there's like a little red exclamation mark there on your like quest log achievement journal thing, oh my God, that drives me insane. I need to clear that right away.
869 messages unread. I have 2,707 unread emails. I have 192 voicemail messages. That's a real thing right there.
Oh my.
Ears bleed.
Look at them dots.
Oh
That's
my
a real
God,
thing.
I'm going to need half a bottle of bourbon to overcome what you just told me.
Yeah.
That, oh my
What the
God,
hell?
dude. How do you live?
Hey man, messages are a river, man. It's like it's not my job to drink the entire Nile. Like,
Well, you know what? I'll
I
never
fill and
be.
let the rest go.
I will never be offended for you taking 2 days to get back to one of my texts again. Oh my.
Oh man, that just so anyways, yes, you have to collect them. There's a little notification icon on your journal that says, "Hey, click me."
So there's a
don't like
journal
it.
section now.
I should go to Reddit.
By the way, I know someone out there is listening to this and going, how dare you have people on the show that aren't intimately familiar with each and every aspect of this game? And I am sitting, I am enjoying this episode so much.
TAC-sgiving.
Can you remember the last time, Jocelyn, that we
Yeah.
got to talk to someone who literally just played the game and just wasn't concerned with the extraneous bull?
We're like the
wanna know
noble
what? Do
savages
anybody-
from the wild.
To anybody who's offended that Brian and I aren't on the like cutting
Reddit.
edge of this, right? Suck it. You're terrible. And if you want to fight online, we both share a Twitter account at BRYCAS.
Oh no, you're a terrible person.
You're awful. Come fight with us. We both have one Twitter account at Brycus.
That's right. The Bry is for Brian. The Cass is for Justin Robert Young.
I'm known as
Casual.
Casual Gerbs.
Casual
so
Just.
it's Bry, and he's spelling it BRY for laughs, and I'm Casual Gerbs.
I'm
So it's
starting to
broadcast.
think maybe this
That's
is
definitely
not
the
your
Twitter account.
account.
Of, the wonderful Bryce Neshcom Castillo, our producer on Night Attack. But he plays video games.
He
He's
loves to
used it.
he takes all the incoming email, incoming tweets and lets us know.
all the horrifying tweets. He just writes them down and then mails them to us.
And then it just sits unread for 18 months.
That's the cruel Roald Dahl twist at the end.
Oh man.
That is, you did Bryce dirty. That's really terrible. That's really, I'm
fine.
going to add a Bryce column
I already
to my
have
tweet
to
deck right now.
apologize to him because I was mean to him on the show last night. So I'll just add this to my tab.
I'm glad that that's. I'm not sure that's how apologies work. It's like, well, I'm already in trouble. I should just be worse before I deliver the apology and just wipe everything clean.
It's Thanksgiving. You have any more vermouth?
Who just drinks vermouth? I need to know.
That's like drunk relatives, female relatives of mine through my youth. That they loved just vermouth.
Just vermouth. All right. That's
Tough old broads.
Yeah, there's some fancy name for that. Hold on. Straight vermouth.
Brian's gonna. Is this a bit, Brian? Or are you legitimately trying to find it?
No. I could swear that there's like a fancy name for it. Yeah, I don't have it.
It was a tougher country back then. You know, just people smoking unfiltered cigarettes and drinking vermouth,
People used to shoot each other in wars.
shooting each other in wars.
And that's when the first person started playing Battlegrounds.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. That was back when Canada was burning down the White House.
During
Like,
the
this is a wild time.
The great hungry time.
The hungry time. I was a bit on Night Attack last night where we were talking about how like people who are in a thing never call the event what history eventually calls it.
Right. Like nobody called it WW1. They called it the Great War, right?
Right.
And so,
yeah.
And so Justin was like, well, nobody's called it the Great Depression. So he was trying to imagine what they would call it. He's like, even now during the Great Hungry Time.
The Empty Belly Festival.
So what are we going to call the pandemic afterwards? Or have we just settled on the pandemic?
The drinkening.
Because I don't know where, I'm assuming it's the same in Texas. I don't know about California, but in Florida, it's just gestures around and all this going on is how we refer to it.
Yeah, I think we'll call it 2020.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
has this episode gone so off the rails that we are just going to go into pandemic talk?
Yep. Listen, we did our reporter duty last week and had a really serious conversation about the state of Hearthstone's economy. I knew what I was getting into when I invited Brian on the show, and he said, I'm going to be recording with Justin at the same time. And I go, everyone in the pool.
I'll tell you what, here's the best part about this pandemic.
Sorry.
Here's the best part.
There's the best part.
Just title this the episode.
Best part, man. And only Garrett's gonna get this. We're clearing the dance floor just for me and Garrett. Florida, and specifically the best cities in Florida, don't have open container laws. Like you can just have a drink and walk around from one place to another. Aside from New Orleans, nowhere else that I've seen has this until the pandemic hit. And California was just like, whatever. Every bar is now a lemonade stand for alcohol. Walk around. You're never going to be inside again. So just walk around and drink. It's the only good thing that's happened.
This has come full circle for an episode that was nothing but deck recommendations if all you do is work out or drink profusely.
Hey, man, it works either way.
That's basically been the pandemic. It's just been, I developed a diet that would allow me to drink as much as I wanted and play Hearthstone. And now I have 3 gold legendaries I don't need and abs.
All right. Well, before we let you go, is there for some semblance of giving useful information to the listeners out there? Is there a deck on your radar that you're looking to craft or hit the ladder with next? Since Brian, you've hit Legend so many times, Justin's sick of hearing it.
I'll tell you what. Actually, I'll take the Totem Pledge. I've mainly focused on Hunter and Paladin, but Shaman I seem amenable to, and it sounds like Totem is pretty powerful. So I'll give that a try next. That'll be the one I do next.
Do it.
I got so frustrated by this mic that I built that secret mage deck while the show was going on, and listeners to the show were yelling at me for not paying attention.
Listeners of the show, you do not understand how impossible it is to talk while you're hearing yourself on a slight delay. It's
sound
the
more
actual
drunk
picks.
than I normally do.
It's actually, I'm loving it very much. It's great.
I love you. Come here. I want to give you a kiss.
You need to make a smacking denture sound.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, some great ASMR for the listeners at home. Hope you enjoyed that, everybody. Well, folks, I think this is as good a place as any to start bringing this home.
Natural endpoint.
You want to be a part of future
Smacking
shows.
dentures.
If you want to talk to us about Hearthstone, write in tacpodcast@gmail.com. If you're a patron, you can just drop us a message directly in the patron Discord and skip the inbox entirely. If you want to complain about how off the rails portions of this podcast went, please tweet at Brycus.
At Brycast, yeah.
No. At Justin R. Young. Please spare Bryce, spare Brian, spare Joss, spare Garrett. All hatred, Justin R. Young.
But as our guests, Brian, if folks are somehow unaware of where they can find the wonderful other content you are making around the internet, where can everyone find you?
Heck yeah, man. Check out me and Justin doing shenanigans. Unlike this show where we are very precise and specific in our language, this other one goes a little bit off the rails. It's called Night Attack, nightattack.tv.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have anything you in particular you'd like to promote? And if you don't, I'm going to promote politics on your behalf.
No, raise the dead. Raise the dead.
Night Attack. Night Attack's the place to go.
Wondrous. Jocelyn, how about yourself?
Twitter and Twitch, I'm at Joss Plays. That's JOCE Plays. And go and check out bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020. We are raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. It's a great cause. We are way over our goal this year, which is amazing, but we still have a lot more streams to do. So do go and check it out and help us get even further and raise more money for the kids.
Definitely going to do that. Amazing thing to go. Like I'm losing the words that I'm trying to pull out of my brain. It's over. It's that's it. That's the end of this. Follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art, where I can think before I speak, and Anchor.tv for this podcast and more like it. You should go check that out. That's going to do it for this episode of The Anchor Chicken. If you are enjoying a long weekend, may you have a great one. And until next time, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
We did the job.
Jobs.
For the audio version, I'm going to go to the sponsor read here. We're going to add it in post, guys. We're not going to make you sit through us shilling our wares. So
That's all right. We got this one for you. Hey, you got an old deck laying around? Don't just let that value go down to the ground. You know you're paying property taxes on that? Hey, it's me, Ed Justin, with my partner, Joe Bryan.
Hi, I'm Joe Bryan. I slur at the end of my sentences because I have too many old decks.
That's right. No,
Ed Bryan's my name. Trailing speech is my game. A little Bill Cosby is my voice style.
What are you going to do with all these old decks laying around, Ed Justin?
I'm going to build a house and then fill it with other old decks.
Well, you know, you could turn those decks into gold.
How?
By heading on over to decksforgold.info. That's right, decksforgold.info. It's your one-stop shop to convert those old busted decks into sweet, sweet gold that you can use to buy new decks.
What am I going to do with all this gold? Buy a battle pass?
Hey, will you be my friend on BattleNet?
You're the worst player I've ever seen.
End of it.